Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. We're going to take our release day look at Assassin's Creed Collector Box sales data off of TCG Player in the whole pre-release period and all the way through and including release day. It sold 1,313 boxes on TCG Player at a total of $396,000 for an average price of $302 per box. Now, we will remember that it took this huge spike upwards, and this plot, this 7-day moving average plot, actually doesn't do the spike justice because a moving average plot is trailing, and so it tends to make it look less dramatic than it actually was. In reality, this product spiked up over the course of about 20 hours from, oh boy, mid 200s up to about 400, where the market just had run out of steam. And, it was a classic case of FOMO and why you need to almost never give in to the FOMO. And when you had content creators out there shouting to buy everything that was under $300, and within 20 hours, the market had jumped up by over $100 per box, that's when you knew it was unsustainable. I made a post to my patrons warning them that, hey, this is probably not going to be able to hold, and it turned out that that was correct. So, markets can have a significant psychological side to them, and if this same exact product had spiked up to the same exact price, but it had done so over the course of 20 days instead of 20 hours, then it may have been able to hold onto that, but it just scared too many people out, and rightfully so. There was a time period where there were down to about 10 sellers on TCG Player willing to list the collector box up there still, and every one of them had set their price to right at about $400 or a few pennies below, and there just were no more buyers willing to take it at that price. And then what we saw was over the next 2 weeks, as sellers started to actually get the physical product in their hand, more and more of them were willing to list it up for sale, and more buyers got interested in it, and the prices came down. Now, today you can go out on TCG Player and you can find this for about $260 per box. We're going to put March of the Machine Aftermath up here just as a formality, and in case you missed it, it did actually pop in here on the cumulative spend chart at about $40,000 compared to $400,000 for Assassin's Creed. And I just wanted to point this out because, there was a little bit of some people thought that there might be kind of a spiritual successor problem where Assassin's Creed, because it's one of these weird experiments where WotC is trying to sell you a booster pack with a minuscule number of cards in it, that essentially Assassin's Creed would perform much like March of the Machine Aftermath, where the market entirely rejected it. And it seems to have not been the case. The universes beyond IP crossovers continue to be strong, and I think WotC learned a hard lesson from March of the Machine Aftermath. I would hope they do not have another expansion that is as big of a failure as that was in a long time. Now, let's put up another one. Let's go with Fallout, which is the previous Universes Beyond crossover. And what you'll see is, for a decent amount of the time late in the pre-release cycle, they tracked together decently well on the cumulative spend chart, and then Fallout pulled ahead by about an additional $100,000 or 25% of total cumulative spend. So we can see that Assassin's Creed kind of trails Fallout, even though it's only a couple months later. It's still a Universes Beyond product. But again, it comes in these ridiculous 10-card collector booster packs. They're basically still the same price. So I think that's a bit of the explanation for the difference. WotC has kind of gotten over the ridiculous underperformance that they built into March of the Machine Aftermath, and it did a lot better than that. So hopefully, going forward, we see fewer mistakes out of WotC. Hopefully, we see less FOMO in the market. And remember, when something crashes upwards, when it spikes upwards way too hard, way too fast, it can spike downwards, it can crash downwards just the same way. And there, as much as we would like to believe that we are all rational investors, there is a psychological factor to it for every one of us, and you need to keep that in mind. And you especially need to keep in mind that a lot of the rest of the market is controlled by that psychological factor. And so those kind of spikes upwards can be very quickly followed by crashes downwards as we saw this time. Let me know what you think. I am going to have another look at the collector box sales data at 30 days post-release and a final look at 60 days post-release. Thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my very generous supporters on Patreon. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade.